Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi barakatuh. Everybody, this is Preacher Moss, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Listen, I hope everybody's having an amazing Ramadan. Had an incredible weekend as a lead up to Ramadan. I want to give a shout out to my dear brother Omar Kareem and all of his associates who did a ribbon cutting for the Clara 81 unit affordable housing project for seniors in Washington, D.C., 2323 Martin Luther King Avenue, a $47 million project. I'm talking about Muslim community came out to support. Media came out. The mayor of DC came out. It was an amazing thing. It was just something that was spiritually uplifting. And of course, if you watched earlier, if you saw the little preview earlier, there's a sign that says "Declare," named after our dear matron, Sister Clara Muhammad. A $47 million project. They pulled it off. People who look like us, people who believe what we believe, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. And I want to also not leave it there. They actually had a fundraiser to build an Islamic school in PG County, Prince George's County, outside of Washington, D.C. African-American Muslims leading the charge to build this Islamic school. There is not one with a focus on African-American values, African-American Muslim values. They're trying to do it, not rent a church, not rent a hall. They are trying to build from the ground up. They're talking about a $24 million project. So they had a fundraiser, which I was a part of. I provided the entertainment. Gaudy numbers that they were asking for. They were looking to raise $12.4 million in one night. And I witnessed it. They did it, but they did not raise $12.4 million. They raised $13.9 million towards the school, which really tells you about the effort and the energy. We had all kind of movers and shakers in the audience. People I haven't seen in a long time. People just quiet. They just love this dean, and they've been grinding for a long time. And I'm not talking about people who are rich millionaires. These are people who bought into a vision. This vision is not new. This vision is a renewed vision, and people are buying into it more and more and more. Down in Atlanta, they raised $5 million, and it was a big deal. We don't really raise that kind of money in our community, but they raised it in Atlanta. Then they came up to Washington, D.C. D.C. has a history of being the largest African-American suburb in the United States, and definitely one of the most affluent. Guess what they did? They raised $13.9 million. I saw it with my own eyes. In fact, the brother leading the charge, he was the first one to donate. He donated $5 million. So that begins to tell you where we are as a community. And I have to say, we're definitely on the upswing. So let me throw this out here. This show, Message to the Black Man 2024, and non-blacks too. I had the pleasure of watching the complete speech from Minister Farrakhan from Savior's Day, and I wanted to take some components of that because I think they were understated. It's just because it's the minister, they were understated, and we get emotionally involved, and a lot of what the minister is saying, but he's extremely strategic. And what he was saying has a line of consciousness going back to what Malcolm said, going back to what Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, going back to what Garvey said, going back to what's really legitimately what the Quran says. And I think it should not be overlooked. And again, a hearty Ramadan Mubarak to those that are fasting. I won't be on your screen too long. I just wanted to give you this bit of love, if you will. So allow me to move forward. I'm going to throw out some names and some places. And if you know about these places, you know about this name, you know what I'm going to be talking about for the next 25 minutes. Place, Enid, Oklahoma. It's about 100 miles north of Oklahoma City. Haven't heard of it? It's okay. Judd Blevins. Have you ever heard of Judd Blevins? Do you know a Judd? Do you know a Blevins? No? That's okay too. I'm going to absolve you from knowing those names because guess what? If you're not digging in the news, you wouldn't know about it either. Enid, Oklahoma, Judd Blevins, these are uh, local political aspects, little political situations, scenarios, but they're not as local as you think they are. So listen, it's a shout out show. We're gonna go out. We're gonna come back. All the people on Instagram, please be patient with me. Sister Satana is here today. We'll try and get your names, give you a shout out as well. Don't you move, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, the shout out show. Let's get it rolling. Okay, we're back. Before we get started, let me give my Ramadan shout outs to the shout out family. We got Sister Ree, Sister Lorna. She says, hello, family. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Sister Ree. My main man, Eric Carter from South Carolina, South Kakalaki. Wa alaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak to you, my dear brother. My main man, Altaf Rashid, coming all the way from Toronto. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We call him Mr. 6 o'clock, special envoy, 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down, a special envoy from Canada, the only one we've ever had. And want to give a shout out to my big brother, and by default, his beautiful queen, Bilal Salahuddin, and his queen, Sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin. What's going on, big brother? Nice to see you in the house. Appreciate you. And of course, what's our show without our executive producer, Sister Satana Whitfield, who makes everything better? Just so you guys know, on the show, off the show, very talented sister. I mean, I don't mention it enough. As one of my friends said, I don't mention it enough, but this sister has been with me from the beginning. And as the show goes different places, we'll talk about that. Maybe on the next show, maybe a week or so. Let's focus on some of these things that I'm talking about today. I believe that it's gonna be awesome. Oh, Bilal's coming in from Instagram. What's going on, Bilal? Appreciate you, man. I think I saw JT too. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my little brother in Ramadan Mubarak, you know, JT for years has joined me for Ramadan. So that's mashallah. He got a little caught up in the politics this year because he didn't know if it started on Monday or Tuesday. So he got an extra day in. I said, brother, don't break that fast. Okay. So let me get to my business here. You know, because Ramadan for me is a time for clarity. Like the spiritual clarity, and then I need social clarity. I need political clarity. And this year is a little bit different because it is happening in 2024, which is a political election season. I threw out one name and I threw out one location. That location was Enid, Oklahoma. The name was Judd Blevins. Now, if you've never heard of Judd Blevins, it's okay. I said that before at the opening. Let me give you where Judd Blevins is right now. Judd Blevins is a city councilman in the city of Enid, Oklahoma. He ran and was elected. Now, if you don't know, Oklahoma is a very deep red state, which is fine. It's been that way for a long time. He ran as a conservative, far right, and he got elected. Okay, fine. I said, preach, why are you bringing up Judd Blevins? Because that's Judd Blevins in 2024. Judd Blevins in 2017 is not the same Judd Blevins. A picture was discovered of Judd Blevins when he wasn't a city council person. And it was a picture of him holding a tiki torch in Charlottesville, Virginia, marching with neo-Nazis in a march that basically changed, if you will, the tenor of politics towards neo-Nazism and far right groups, if you will, that we somehow become more sympathetic. In fact, our presumed Republican nominee for the president, Mr. Trump, said that there were some good people there in the midst of this thing. Judd Blevins is now a city councilman in the city of Enid, Oklahoma. What is interesting is he lied under the radar for years. He was under the radar for years. And I want to make sure you understand that he interacted with people. He engaged with people. He espoused certain things with people. He connected with people. And Enid, Oklahoma, brothers and sisters, is not all white like it used to be. Believe me, I'm a comedian. I had to go through there back in the 90s. It's not all white, brothers and sisters. Enid, Oklahoma has Latinos, it has blacks. But here's a man who went under the radar and managed to get elected as a city council person and began this policy of, for lack of a better word, espousing this, not the hate. They don't do the hate anymore. They do the bitterness. But espousing this bitterness towards so many things, Black Lives Matter, issues about diversity, things that you're seeing now. Now, to tie this back to what the minister said, and what I think was kind of unsaid, was that this is the new prototype. This is the new template. You know, if you ask elders, like your grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers, if you ask them what was the most terrifying thing of politics in the day, is that the people who ran the politics, the judges, the police, the city council folks, they were the same people that put on the mask at night and came to your house. That this is the new politics. That these people who have these thoughts, these beliefs, these I want to say actionable attitudes, these are the people who now hide in plain sight. That going back to the Charlottesville demonstration, protest, riot, if you will, that the new idea, the new platform, the new modality was that put down your tiki torches, take off your sheets, get involved with local politics. Local politics. So if you want to understand where these policies are coming from, where the frothing of the MAGA, and it comes from local politics, of which, particularly in these deep red areas, we are not a part of. We are not a part of it. And the anti-Semitism thing is interesting because they don't talk about anti-Semitism, and a large part of the Zionists, if you will, don't talk about this because they have a kinship. And that kinship is that we will lie in plain view as well until we have an opportunity to exact what we want to do. What's going on now in Oklahoma with this man, this Mr. Judd, we'll call him Mr. Judd, Brother Judd, is that Brother Judd is now part of a recall election. That people are trying to recall him, that he ran as a politician under false pretenses, if you will, under fake intentions. And the interesting thing that has to be discussed is that he's galvanized a lot of support. He's galvanized a lot of support. There are a lot of people who feel like he is right, that somehow he is being victimized because people, through a process, had to find out that he was a part of these neo-Nazi groups, these white supremacist groups. And they have all kinds of different names, preserving Western America. They have all of that. But my point is, he is galvanizing support from all these other neo-Nazi groups from around the country, from California, from down south, who see, for lack of a better word, a pattern, a winnable pattern that they can apply all over the place. If you understand about revolutions start in the country. My last show, I talked about the farmers raising up. Well, guess what? The farmers are raising up now. Enid, Oklahoma is not a metropolitan paradise, if you will. It's a small town. In a small town with small ideas and a lot of less hope, you now have a situation where people are fostering these ideas. Now, believe me, I've gone through Enid, Oklahoma and never thought twice about that town. Twice. Not once even. Because I'm arrogant. Because I'm thinking power cannot come from this little feed store or that broke down Walmart. It can't come from there. Maybe power can't come from there, but ideas can come from there. And ideas can be planted there. And that's where we are right now in terms of our American politics. While we are firmly rooted and looking at the Donald Trumps of the world, there are Enid, Oklahomas popping up all over the place. There are Enid Oklahomas popping up all over the place. Not just in states, in city legislatures, in judicial areas. They're popping up in homes. That people now have understood that I can use anonymity to the point where I have to present this is who I am. And given a point where he was exposed, two white women exposed him. This is not black people doing this. Is not Black Lives Matter, Intifada. This is two retired white women who went up to him when he was running for city council and showed him a picture of him in Charlottesville yelling out anti-racist, anti-immigrant rhetoric, and he walked away. He didn't answer questions. They said, "Is this you?" And he walked away. Even the city council, when presented with this information, guess what they went to? Well, we have a process. Are you kidding me? We have a process. Listen, if I'm at work, I'm working at Wendy's, and the boss opens my locker and 2 pounds of cocaine fall out, I'm getting fired. I'm getting arrested. There's no process. Moss, you're out of here. Guess what? I only have to have 2 pounds of cocaine. These days, I can just say something that's seemingly anti-Semitic, and I'm canceled. Well, it's hard for me to get canceled. I'll tell you that story later. But my point is, brothers and sisters, you now have this playground for these very, very dysfunctional people that now they don't have to apologize. That they can lie on the truth, and the truth only has value if they tell it. Jews 1. If you're reading your Jews, what is that all about? It's about a covenant that's continually being broken. Continually being broken, lies being told, people who are lying in plain sight, saying, I believe what you believe, but they don't believe what you believe. This is a play out. And the thing that's really interesting, maybe it's interesting, maybe it's annoying to me, that in the process of this whole thing, when they had him in city council and they held his feet to the fire, and the Mayor Mason was like, this is a problem, and all the city council people were kind of like hesitant because they don't want to say, they don't want to condemn him. Why do they want to condemn him? Because some of them probably think exactly the same way he does. They just don't have the courage to say it. Now he's full-throatedly out saying, yes, I said these things. Yes, I said these things. I espouse these views. But he's still holding on to that spot as a city councilman. Why? Because there's a process. A recall process. Another Republican is running against him to replace him. So what? The damage has been done. You're taking this thing, and eventually, maybe it'll get to a national spotlight. I don't think so. We're so consumed with on social media and who has nice shoes and earrings. It probably won't. And that's our fault. That's our fault. We don't prioritize. We don't challenge the media to go out and look for meaningful stories that in truth can impact our lives over a period of time. And the thing that I really want to bring in before we go to the break here is that this man, Judd Blevins, is held responsible. He's called into account in front of other people, but he's pulled in support from outside of Enid, Oklahoma. Listen to me, outside of Enid, Oklahoma, who were looking at this process thinking he's going to get away with it. And at the time when they should have been able to impeach this man and remove him from office, guess what happens? God dang it. Y'all gonna be mad. I'm mad. But when they asked this man about this, he refused to apologize. He didn't say, I was wrong. He didn't say, I didn't say. He refused to apologize. And while they had the motivation and the momentum to remove this man, guess what happened? A black man City Councilman Norwood is his name, looks at this man with all his evidence, moves it to the side, and goes, "Stand up, brother." This is he tells him, "Stand up, brother." He goes, "Do you love me?" To this tiki torch wearing Nazi wannabe cracker, "Do you love me?" And he goes, "I love you as a brother in Christ." That's what he said. "I love you as a brother in Christ." And he might as well add, "And if we take over and we put you back in the cotton fields, believe me, on Sundays, you're going to be able to have dinner in the back of the big house." That's what he should have said. As a brother in Christ. We'll be right back here on the ShOUT Show. Don't you move.
Tarife Atar. The scent of enlightenment. A gentle reminder that air, water, and fire indeed are life-giving essences. Appreciate the intersection of time and luxury. Magnify your essence. Tarife Atar.
All right, we're back here on the ShOUT Show. If you're interested in top tier oils and fragrances, make sure you check out Tarife Atar. You can go to their website. You can actually get their items on Etsy, ETSEY, Etsy.com. All right. Well, this is Speech Mars. I'm fresh off the plantation. And I don't know if you guys were with me with the break. Fresh off the plantation. I've given you a case study. While I give you a narrative, I give you a case study of what's happening around America. It is local politics that's going to drive a lot of how we're going to be living our lives for the next 15, 20 years. We see it from the top with the Supreme Court. We have given ourselves a conundrum, if you will, that the people that we put in the Supreme Court are going to be fair and objective and really look at cases and not be, I want to say, influenced by agendas. Well, it's too late for that. The blueprint is Enid, Oklahoma. If I were to go to Enid, Oklahoma right now, I don't know if I'd be really well received talking this way, but I wouldn't be turned away. And this is the thing that everyone needs to know. The things that you're seeing imply that we will not be turned away. We will be made to watch. If it's chaos, if it's dysfunction, we are being made to watch. If it is babies being murdered on TV, we're being made to watch. If you look at your social media, you want to see hunger and starvation, you are going to be made to watch. Unless you have the wisdom and the intellect to disconnect. Because as you're made to watch, you're made to feel that you are helpless. That you cannot reach through a television and change the situation. We will donate billions of dollars this year, this month, if you will, to the causes of Palestine and Gaza. We will donate billions of dollars. Billions of dollars have already been donated. The government is trying to send $13 billion, though it's late, Sleepy Joe. But my point is, You're going to have to watch this. One of the things I remember watching on YouTube when they interviewed some of the slaves, people who were born as slaves, lived to be lived to be free or liberated. When they would talk about the amount of violence on a plantation, it's been well documented. When they talk about the amount of violence on a plantation, the thing that they said was the violence was made to be a spectacle. It was made to be a spectacle. Whether it was lynching, they didn't really lynch slaves back then because they were worth something. They lynched them after they were free. But whether it was beating, whether it was rape, torture, tearing families apart, it was made to be a visible spectacle. That it made an imprint on your mind that this is not the way it was, but this is something that cannot be stopped. That even if you undo it, even if you outlaw it, the imprint is there in history. In Oklahoma is the same thing. That even if this man gets recalled and he gets removed from public office, it's the idea that everyone has to live with the memory that he made it this far. And that memory is inspiration to other people. That memory allows other people to think, well, maybe they didn't get it right in Oklahoma, but I have enough data, I have enough information that maybe I can go ahead and replicate what just happened. And maybe some of the people that take this intelligence, if you want to call it intelligence, maybe they take this intelligence and they give it to smarter people. People much more well-financed, people much more well-finessed, if you will, a lot more sophisticated. And they enter this data into the 2024 election. That they're now mining these points for a 2024 election, calling the president Brandon and things of this nature. It begins to build and build and build. And be clear, the Republican Party, in terms of numbers, is not a big party. What they are is well-financed, well-organized, and well-intentioned, even if the intention is evil. The Democrats, guess what? I wouldn't put it out there if I didn't believe it, but I believe that the Democrats, a lot of them think the same way as good old Judd Blevins. They just haven't come to be able to resolve that in a public way. Don't be fooled, brothers and sisters. Don't be fooled. Red or blue doesn't mean it's true. That's what I say. And as you begin to move forward, please investigate your local surroundings and your local politics. Weed out, if you will, those who maybe wannabe Judd Blevins, because that wannabe Judd Blevins might be a wannabe Donald Trump, might be a wannabe Mike Pence. If you watch the thing, might be a wannabe Tim Scott, and that's a black man. Sorry about that, Eric. Could you please talk to Eric? Eric, could you please talk to Tim Scott? He's embarrassing black people beyond repair. But my point is, if it's taking me from 2017 to do this broadcast right now to bring up Judd Blevins, can you imagine all the energy, all the effort that's gone into him getting to this point? And I'm just talking about it now. And the scary part is I'm not alone. You in the same boat. So for this particular show, though it's Ramadan, let us do our due diligence. It's in the Quran. It's emphasized that we need to do our due diligence. Sister Satana's right there. Santos in New York lied and was in the house, got kicked out, and now he's running again. Thank you, Satana. I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, if I was going to make it up, it'd be better than this. It'd be more dynamic, be some jokes in it. You take the jokes out, the jokes are still there. This is the joke. It's just not funny. All right, brothers and sisters, this is Preacher Moss on the ShOUT Show. Please, please, please have a wonderful Ramadan. May Allah bless you, increase you and your family, and accept your fast. Thank you for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The ShOUT Show. Investigate.